Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning session in the experience of Namaste. We are gathered here in Ajijic, Mexico at our Namaste community, but wherever you are, that is where the name of God is being fully expressed and realized. Wherever you are in this moment. It makes no difference where you might be sitting in your body, only where you are resting in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. If you are resting in God, which is what we're all called to do and to be, then we are resting together in the experience of Namaste, that blessing, that holy extension. That's what we're going to talk about a little today. First of all, today, if you didn't know, is the Feast of Mary Magdalene, which is always a beautiful thing, a beautiful opportunity for us to realize the closeness and the intimacy of God and of the Christ being the extension of the love and the loveliness of God, and the recognition and the falling in love with that. I think that really is the essence of the experience of Mary Magdalene. She fell in love, deeply in love with the extension of that loveliness. And you can have whatever idea or whatever thought you want about who she was, and was she Jesus's partner? Was she not Jesus's partner? Who knows? Maybe, but that doesn't really matter, does it? The historical specifics never really matter. What matters is this moment, choosing to see what is really there and choosing to activate that sacred name, that sacred Christ within each of us. And I believe that that is what Mary Magdalene was and did. She experienced and enjoyed that intimacy with the Christ. However you look at it, regardless of the form, she certainly experienced that intimacy. And so the name of God, I am that, was alive within her, just as it's alive within each one of us. But for some of us, it's still somewhat asleep, maybe dreaming, maybe deep asleep, maybe just waking up. But regardless, that name, I am that, and the intimacy that it inspires is whole within us. So once again, to me, Mary Magdalene is just the experience of that intimacy, of the awakening of a presence that we share, that we love, that we acknowledge. Mary Magdalene was the first person to see Jesus in his resurrected state, where he had stepped beyond the limitation or the so-called limitation of death. And he said, "Do not touch me," because she was so in love with this experience. She wanted to immediately go and embrace him, because this beloved who she thought had been crucified and killed was suddenly alive. But there was something new about him, something transformed, that he couldn't be reassociated in a bodily form. Even though he took on a bodily appearance, there was something new and something very bright about his expression. But it's just beautiful that Mary's first inclination is to run to him and to embrace the beloved. And when we feel that same inclination to run to the beloved, to the Christ, and embrace them in every moment with all of our love and all of our energy, that's when we become like her. So I just thought I would mention that, because it is her feast day. Just a beautiful way of looking at what we are called to do, because we're called to share that same intimacy, that same beloved, just as Mary Magdalene did. And I also this morning looked at the lesson from A Course in Miracles, and today is a review lesson. It's been focusing on I am not a body. But it's also focusing today on lesson 184, which is the name of God is my inheritance. And that really struck me this morning. The name of God is my inheritance. But so often in lessons like this or prayers like this, it'll say things like, Our Father who art in heaven, holy is your name. But people don't usually ask the question, well, what is your name? Holy is your name. Okay, I'd like to know that name. I'd like to be on a first name basis. Once again, I'd like to share that intimacy with the beloved. So what is the name of God? I think you all know it. It's not a normal name like Fred or Bob or Mary. You probably heard me say this before. It's a stupid joke. I used to always say that I used to think that God's name was Howard. You know, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Silly joke. But we know now, we feel now, we realize now that the name of all that is not something that reduces it, but allows it to expand and to explode. It allows it to expand and to explode. And what else could that be but I am? When Moses was with that burning bush on Mount Horeb and said, who shall I tell the children of God? Who shall I say sent me? That fire, that light, that brilliance said, Ahiyeh Asher Ahiyeh, I am that I am. And then once again, it said, tell them I am sent you. I am right now in this moment. If you need a name, that's as close as we can get. That's as real as we can get. I am happening right now. I am awake. I am alive right now. And when we come to the place of realizing that that's our inheritance as well, that that's your name as well. You see, we like to limit and to specify things. So we say Jackie or Bruce or Paulina or Bob, and so we reduce each other to an identity and say, this is who you are. But that's not at all who we are. I am that right now. And that experience, not the words, but the experience of that consciousness, of that current, of that frequency, this is my inheritance. And this is what I claim. And as we claim that together, everything turns to light. All of these world situations that we seem to be dealing with turn to light. All of these health situations we seem to be dealing with turn to light, because I am, the name of God is only light. And that light is in you right now, if you would but claim it. So the name of God is your inheritance. I wanted to share a little bit from that lesson. It says, the name of God becomes the final lesson that all things are one. The name of God becomes the final lesson that all things are one. I am is the final lesson. And at this lesson does all learning end. There's nothing else you need to learn when you realize and learn that all things are one. And you do that through that sacred extension, I am. All names are unified and all space is filled with truth's reflection. Every gap is closed and separation is finally healed. The name of God is the inheritance he gave to those who chose the teaching of the world to take the place of heaven. That's interesting. The name of God is the inheritance. The experience of I am consciousness is the inheritance that God gave to those who chose the teaching of the world or separation to take the place of heaven, because that reunites and draws it all back together. That's why it's your inheritance. And it's being given to you right now to take the place of all of those ideas and all of those concepts that just for a moment seem to separate you from love itself. It is no longer. because you are welcoming the experience of I am that. In our practicing, our purpose is to let our minds accept what God has given as the answer. And here we go, to the pitiful inheritance that you made as a fitting tribute to the Son he loves. Separation indeed is a pitiful inheritance, a strange idea that for some reason you claimed. But now you release. If you claim something, you also have the power to release it. You have the power to turn back toward the light, to realize and to remember that I am that right now. I've always been that. There's nothing but that fully revealed holy consciousness of the Christ moving through and as me right now. So the only question comes, are you willing? Are you ready? You wouldn't be here if you weren't. All we can really say is that this is the moment. This is the moment. You don't have to worry about if you have whatever talent or skill, or if you've read enough books or done enough, whatever it is you think you need to do enough of. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let all of that go and just relax into that sacred presence. I am that. Just relax into the arms of the beloved. And then that I am consciousness comes alive within you. And you realize that that divine inheritance has always been yours. So feel that for a moment. Maybe take a deep breath. See if you can sense that consciousness, that reality, that light. I am that. So Vicki, why don't I turn it over to you for the practical voice of spirit and see where that leads us.
Okay, Jimmy. Hi, everybody. Well, this is what came to me right away, just as we sat down now and rested into that I am experience. And this is what I'm witnessing in my life and what Mary Magdalene gave us example for. Jesus said that he would resurrect, and no one believed him. His apostles, they ran away scared, and they were all sorrowful, pitiful, morose, everything. And Mary Magdalene sat there and didn't move. And perhaps others too, probably other women, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
All right? Not men. But what I see is when we sit and claim the Christ in our brother and refuse, no matter how nuts they seem to be, no matter how long it takes, some with Jesus only 3 days, some 30 years, but when we see only the Christ in our brother, then only the Christ in our brother has to emerge. Maybe not overnight, maybe not in a couple of days, but it has to emerge because we are one. And if our mind, that's the power of joining in the reality of who we are, not just claiming it for ourselves, but refusing to see anything but that in everyone, especially the brother we're more inclined or most inclined to think less of. Yes. than that fullness. And really, truly, from my heart, I'm telling you that in my life today, I'm witnessing that, not in just one brother, but several. And it's the power of our vision is the transformative alchemy here in time. If we can hold, like Mary Magdalene stood there at that tomb with that rock, rolled over and said, nope, I know he means what he said. I know from deep within me that the truth is alive. There's no death to the truth. Then we are that Mary Magdalene in wherever we find ourselves. And that example, perhaps more than ever, is the greatest example we have for this direct experience for ourselves and for every brother, whether it's our immediate family or friends or Donald Trump or anyone. See nothing but the light and believe in that. Don't worry. No one's guilty for dreaming. No one. None of it was so. That's, Jesus reduces it. This is one of those lessons. It's all reduced. One problem, one solution. The name of God is my inheritance, and it is yours. There's no exclusion and there's no exception. Live it. That's the experience. Not just, it's lovely to read about it. It's wonderful to feel it. But we have to, it's like we have to live it. We have to, because it doesn't become our knowing until we have lived it, simply lived it. And when these other thoughts come into our mind, dismiss them because they're not so. Not because, there's a whole set of reasons and rationales. Forget them all. They don't matter. We don't need rituals. We don't need any kind of procedure. We just need that resolute mind that says, no, I witnessed the Christ, period. I'm looking at the Christ all about me, and I refuse to identify anything less. And anything less is just a cartoon, and it's Big Toontown, and it's wrapping up because I see the light behind it all. So that's it, Jimmy.
That's it. Yeah. That wasn't much. That was beautiful.
Thanks, honey.
Thank you so much. And I didn't look yet. Oh, there's Christina. Good morning, dear. You want to share anything?
Good morning. Hi. That was great, Vicki. I love I am because it takes us right to the source, to the simplicity. I've had moments where the most painful revelations for me have come in moments of pain. Moments of pain, turning completely within and asking for truth to reveal itself. And in those moments, and these are like my most excruciating moments in human heart and body. And there's only been a few of those moments that are profound in the revelation that was given in those moments. And always the revelation that is given in those moments is I am. I am that. I am that pain. I am that which I think had caused me the pain. I am that. And these words before those moments were beautiful. They were, I am conceptually, or I am more like the feeling of the peace of the stillness, I am. But in those moments where those revelations were given and truth was revealed, I am became all one. And they were so powerful that they literally burned whatever it was that was causing the pain and transformed it and the vision and the recognition of what was real. These words are so powerful, and so powerful when our heart is more open than just, I'm here meditating, resting in the stillness. They have the power to completely transform our lives on every level. I am, God is. I am, God is. There was one moment where that was just pulsating through me, just like it had my body and it was just doing its work through me. And I keep coming back to saying this, and I hope that it is being heard and received, is that, we think that we are the ones who are doing, or we need to do, or we need to be, and the work is done through us. Like when Vicki says, I need to see my brother as the one. as I choose to see my brother, God reveals my brother to me. The source reveals my brother to me. And I've had moments with this also that have been very difficult. And it doesn't, in my experience, it doesn't always turn out that the person that, you know, say there's a person, we could even use Trump as an example. There's a person who is not aware of the pain and devastation that they're causing someone in the human dream. And as they are in their activity of doing this, if I am seeing them as their God self, their Buddha nature, whatever you want to call it, then in some cases, people definitely can step up to that plate and they show you what you see in them. We bring that out in them. In other circumstances, I've seen that those people have been just automatically and magically taken out of my life without any effort on my own. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be in the realm of anything physical happening. It's just, it's been taken care of. So as we rest in the I am, it's important, I sense, to remember that we're allowing the I am to reveal itself through us. We're allowing the I am to gift us the recognition and the revelation of the truth. We're resting, we're receptive, and we're listening. And when we are given. And it may not be in the exact moment. You know, I've had meditations where I was just really opening and listening for truth. And it felt as though in that meditation, nothing was revealed. But then I got up and I went and got a glass of water, or I went for a walk, or even sometimes 2 days later, and the truth is revealed. So every moment that we give ourselves to that which we already are is given, the yes that we give is always given back. It always reveals itself in its own way, in its own time. So I know a lot of teachers, a lot of gurus, a lot of most every enlightened being I've ever heard speak will say, rest in the I am. Say the words I am. And eventually, if we continue to give our heart to that, even if it's conceptually in the beginning, it will reveal the truth to us that is beyond anything any of us could put into words and share with each other. And that alone can bring forth only thank you. I've come to find that thank you are the highest words that there are in the human language, because every revelation, every recognition, every moment of God, every bliss, peace that moves through my veins as my very blood says thank you. The flower that's blooming is saying thank you. The squirrel that's breathing is saying thank you. Thank you is just as powerful as I am, because I am rests and thank you. So thank you.
And thank you. That was beautiful. Thanks to both of you, Vicky and Christina. And before we open things up, I want to just read this prayer. This is the closing prayer for that lesson we were sharing. And I'm just going to invite you, in the light of everything you've heard and the energy of everything that has been expressed here today, just to rest in this, in these words. It says, Father, but I'm going to say, beloved. Beloved, our name is yours. We could also say, and your name is ours. In it, we are united with all living things, and you who are their one creator. What we made and carry by many different names is but a shadow we have tried to cast across your own reality. And we are glad and thankful we were wrong. All our mistakes we give to you, that we may be absolved from all effects our errors seemed to have. And we accept the truth you give in place of every one of them. Your name is our salvation and escape from what we made. Your name unites us in the oneness which is our inheritance and our peace. Amen.